Easy, how are we?
Shawnee, there's a few not so strangers here with us as well this week.
Not a bit of serious faces going on in front of us now at the moment. It must be the tail end of the marathon season. I don't even know where to start. It's not serious anymore. Connor's breaking us all laughing. Connor, we're coming straight to you because you won't stop laughing. How has tapering started for you now that we're recording 2.5 weeks out from the Dublin Marathon?
No, not yet, but I'll probably do a week tapering. But as we know, like my training block hasn't been as long as Shane or anyone else. Like, it's actually been half of that. So I think I said in the last episode I was sort of going to extend the long runs and then start to shorten them down. Yeah, that's what I've done. So 2 weeks ago, I had a 3-hour run on the plan. I went for that. That was the longest run. I think the longest one before that was a time trial for the half marathon. I done that on an air runner, so it wasn't like on the road. So
how was that? Sorry to cut across. I seen you post a story about that. How was that?
Oh, it was awful. So I said I'd do the air runner because I was getting it done early that Sunday morning, and I was like, wasn't prepared or mentally prepared for the roads. It was dark, it was wet. I just bought new Onclates and I was like, there's no way I'm ruining them yet. So I was like, I'll go on the air runner. And it was during open gym or whatever. So there'd be people in there lifting weights, doing whatever they're doing. And as I was on it, like, just people were coming over and talking to me, but I underestimated how just mentally draining it was. Like,
so with the air runner, it's a curved treadmill for people who don't know. And
yeah.
How hard is it to move that in terms of, is it just the same as normal treadmills and you put in a speed to go at and try and hold on for dear life, or is it you set it more by how fast you run? How does that work? Does it make it much harder that way or easier?
Yeah, so it's self-propelled.
Did you like it, Connor? Be honest, did you like it?
Not a fucking chance, no.
Eric, you've definitely used it before the way you said that.
It's a strange experience when you start running on it. Like the first, you feel like Bambi on ice. It's like, I don't know, for me, it's just, it's kind of like, if you get it wrong, it's like you can't slow down. Do you ever see that video of someone coming down the hill? I can't slow down. It's like, I really don't know how to stop it. Well, what did you think of it, Connor? Describe it for people who don't know. What is it?
Yeah, so as Sean said, it is curved, but it's self-propelled. So as you, like, even when you jump to walk on it, like, you're nearly catching yourself. And then, as you said, Eric, as it goes, it keeps picking up the speed and you'll fucking be shot off the back of it if you're not careful. But it is, like, you do have to sort of pace yourself, because it is every step. Like, if you're looking at the screen sort of that they have on it that gives you your pace, every step the numbers are jumping. So it is hard to sort of stay on pace. Right. It's much easier to, like, sort of stay within 10 to 15 seconds of, say, your target pace. Because every step, like, if you lean a bit too forward, it could jump up to like 3:30 pace. Lean too far back, it gets slower. So, like you said, yeah, like at the start, it's a bit like Bambi on ice. You're running, trying to steady yourself. And yeah, so it is hard to pace yourself, but I had it as a time trial, so I just took off. Had a couple of gels there beside me. Now, I did jump off and grab a gel and jump back on, but yeah, like, just the mental torture of it. Some people, in two minds, I did put up a poll. I was like, does a PB count on an air runner or not? Because it's not on the roads. Split decision there, but some people reckon it's tougher because it is curved. They say you're like mimic running uphill slightly. I don't really know. I think PBs are only for the roads, in my opinion, anyway. So I have that on Garmin. I haven't accepted the PB, so I'll see what other people think. But yeah.
Well, a lot of people say a PB is something with a chip time, I suppose, and that's kind of the general guide. But it's still in your head, though, that you can do it, because a lot of people, when I was training on the turbo trainer for cycling, were saying to me, "Man, how can you do 6 hours on the turbo trainer?" And I'm like, because it's raining outside, obviously. And they do say, though, that ability to stick at something so monotonous, the scenery doesn't change, everything doesn't change. It's just time, distance. it can be of benefit mentally when it comes to the open road, when you actually get to the freedom of seeing things change and everything else in between. So I wouldn't say, okay, the PB doesn't help, but mentally it's there that you know that there's a time, you know that there's an effort, and you know that you can sustain it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I did following week, I had that road, like 3 hours on the road, and like it was as if the weather wasn't great, but as if there was sunshine, rainbows, and everything compared to looking at people doing squats or whatever it was coming over. Oh, what you running today? Like, I was almost like at one point I put the AirPods in. I don't like to listen to music when I run, but I put the AirPods in. I wasn't listening to anything, so in hope that people wouldn't come over.
So people thought you weren't Spain.
But yeah, then towards the end, like I was fighting for my life, and I was bull taking people come. Are you nearly done? And I was just like, fuck off, will you? Leave me alone. But yeah, no, I got it done, and then the following week, yeah, I tried that. I think it was the following week anyway. Tried the 3 hour run. It would have been my longest on the road, other than that half marathon. Was aiming for the 30k. Stopped short at like 27. For 2 reasons, or probably 3 reasons. I was hurting like really bad. I got a buzz on the watch. It was going to die on me. It was 3%. I
Well,
didn't
then
put
it
it in the
didn't help.
battery saver mode because I wasn't sure if it was going to stop the run or not. So then I was like, I can't lose this run.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend was driving by because my niece got out of hospital. She's my sister had a baby. So she was
I
on
was
her way
going
to
to
see
make
her,
a
and I was
joke,
like,
then I stopped myself. Then it turned out to be a baby. It's good news. I might make a joke still.
so I whipped out the phone because I was starting Strava anyway, just for safety net in case I did have to run the whole way home and the watch died on me. But I voice noted her and I was like, if you drive by me, fucking stop the car and let me in. So as soon as I get in the car, I stopped the watch and it saved, and then it just died on me. So I was like, oh, thank God I stopped. But yeah, then last Sunday then, so I should have started sort of lowering the mileage according to the plan, but I went for another 3. It was actually over 3 hours. Me and three others from Cup of Cardio, we just went for 30k. One of the lads is doing Dublin as well, so it was just a full on zone 2 3 hours for me. We hit the 30k mark, so just wanted to get that to sort of, you know, I don't know,
Mentally there,
reassure
like,
myself.
yeah.
Especially having a little blip along the way through injury. We have that kind of mental thing as well. So the fact that it was zone 2 and you were feeling easy about it, does that give you the confidence now to taper? Or are you still going to go, I might do another 30k just to see if I can still run 30k?
No, I'll go back to what's on the plan now. So the distance in the leg was all right. The one I have for this weekend is it's an hour zone 2 and an hour zone 3. So I sort of like that one because it's a bit of 50-50, like it's a bit one's nice and easy, because the ones, you know, when you're doing like say 2 hours zone 2 and you have an hour in zone 3 or whatever to do, when your legs have been moving sort of slow for that long, to ramp up, it's I don't know why it's difficult, but it's really difficult. So the 50-50 one I actually sort of enjoy. I'll swap the runners, put the carbons on halfway when I hit the hour mark and pick up the pace.
Switching runners is an interesting one. Is that because you want to feel the race pace in the race shoes?
Yeah, so I done it for Barcelona, whatever it was, a couple of months ago. I hadn't worn the carbons, obviously.
With or say hello. Yeah, we
remember.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Eric,
so,
forget.
So yeah, I wanted to wear obviously the carbons because I hadn't worn them before, and I was not wearing them going slow. So I was like, right, I'll do it this way, and like obviously to get familiar with the pace, but like also just give yourself that sort of feeling, you know, like as you said, like race pace, like only for the hour or whatever. So, yeah.
Brilliant. It's mad with the tapering now, because we put up a poll on our own Instagram there a couple of days ago. It was like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week out, or what is tapering. Eric selected what is tapering, but everyone else, it was almost 30% in each one in terms of 3 weeks taper, 2 weeks, 1 week. And it's like, it's mad just how everyone's different opinions, different way it's at. The old general rule of thumb was 3 weeks, but marathon training comes in the way. I won't know what tapering is this year myself, but you were talking earlier about treadmills and stuff. Cliodhna, up in Galway, you're probably begging for treadmills with Storm. Maybe he was hitting you, but it's from the last time we were talking to you, you were coming back, you were injured at the time, coming back from injury, and it looks like you're getting a couple of good runs in now. Know a runner who's always chasing the next finish line? Or maybe you are that runner.
Meet the Ultra Pure Sports Recovery Kit. Everything you need for faster, better recovery after those long runs.
Inside, you'll find the Ultra Pure Epsom salts gel, arnica cream, wintergreen heat rub, soothing bath salts, and a free gift. All designed with your recovery in mind.
Perfect post-race, post-training, or after a long weekend run. This set is the ultimate treat for hardworking muscles.
Beautifully packaged and ready to gift for your running buddy or you.
Made in County Mayo by an award-winning Irish family business, Ultra Pure means quality you can feel and trust.
Find the Ultra Pure Sports Recovery Kit in select pharmacies and health stores nationwide, or shop now at ultrapurelabs.ie.
By listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this podcast. But for now, it's time to get back to the episode.
Or not.
Nah, Cliodhna, can't hear you.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I know, sure. I copped that very quickly. I was just looking at these blank faces going, oh, I've done something wrong here.
We promise
You can
we
always
will leave
rely
that
on me
in.
to do something stupid.
It's late enough to edit now, Cliodhna. Stop me staying in.
Oh, okay. I'll start that again. So, Sean, yes, I was injured. Yeah, I was minding a hamstring, which is still sore, but I'm able to run without it getting any worse, and it's not stopping me running. So the physio had kind of explained, I think I mentioned the last time, that it may move, sometimes it kind of migrates or moves towards the tendons, and you can have pain, but it's not actually doing any further damage. So I've 2 weeks done of full running. Up until 2 weeks ago, I was still substituting some of the runs for bikes. But I did the Charleville half marathon a couple of weeks ago, kind of off the back of half running, half cycling for the 3 weeks coming into it. And that went well. I was quite sore at the end of it. Like, I hobbled for the cool down. I actually had to cut the cool down short because I said, if anybody sees me, like, I'll just be arrested. I was just horrendous looking, hobbling around the place. But I think that was just having raced really, really hard, rather than it being any more further damage to the hamstring. So, so since then I've managed it quite well. I think I kept the speed session and the long run on the road, and I did all the other all on the bike. And this week I've ran 65 miles, which is about 100k. So that's with Storm Amy.
This week?
Yeah. I'm done though.
Amy.
Like, I've 7 days in a row done. So I'm so done. I'm off tomorrow. Pilates tomorrow.
Wow.
Can't wait.
So you still managed to cover a good bit of mileage. Are you nervous
A good bit.
for the marathon? Yeah, but like, you know, she's
She did
well out.
100K in a week.
She was running quite a lot before the little niggles. She was on the bike. She was doing what we don't do, Sean. She was training. But are you nervous now coming into it?
I think the nerves for me are probably more around the fact that I've never done one before. So there's so many moving, like, there's so many parts to a marathon aside from the training block. Like, there's, where am I going to stand? Where am I going to position myself at the start? I've put myself in wave 2, but I actually think I could probably run faster than the pacers in wave 2. So I think that's where the nerves kick in. It's like, I've never been here before. I don't know Dublin. I know Crumlin Hospital, unfortunately, and I know Dublin Zoo, and I know O'Connell Street and Grafton Street, like every other redneck in the country, and Coppers. But yeah, so I don't know where I'm standing for the start. I don't know how busy is it going to be trying to get across to water stations. Like, there's so many bits that I don't know anything about that I'm just going to have to try and wing. Like, I'm confident with the training. I'm good. I'm in good shape. I have a plan A, plan B, plan C. You know, if things go well, one time. If things don't go so well, it'll be another time. If the arse falls out of it, it'll be a slower time. But it's all the other stuff that kind of is where the nerves are. Yeah, I suppose, because you can't train for a lot of it.
And then there's obviously what we kind of take for granted, having done a couple, is everything you've said. And a lot of people are going to take a lot of solace in that. Cliodhna, what are you doing to help research what's involved in the day, the start line, the wave, what do I need that morning? And I say this because myself and Sean have stood there hugging each other on the start line because we never brought a bin bag or a jumper to keep ourselves warm. Or there's all these little things you learn in your first marathon, and hopefully we've saved you a mistake. But what else are you doing to kind of, I know that the element of what if, the big race, I don't want to let everyone down. I've been training, I've been on a podcast talking the big talk. But what is the plan to kind of settle those nerves? Don't talk to Eric the week of, number one. Number two, what is the other stuff as a first two marathoner?
Block Eric from Instagram anyway, for starters.
Yeah. Good solid.
I suppose I've asked one or two people one or two questions, but you kind of have to be careful. I'm sure you found the same, that like the more people you ask, the more variety of answers you're going to get. And it's sometimes that can even leave you more confused or more in the dark. So I guess I'm just going to have to try and School of Hard Knocks. I've listened to a few of the pre-marathon podcasts that you guys would have done last year as well. I've kind of gone through back catalogues of couple of podcasts like that, and listening to people who really know what they're talking about, and trying to garner a little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge, because I am one of these people who does like to feel like they've done something to try and help. There's a local runner in Galway. Her name is Jane Ann Meehan. She would have I think she placed in the top 3 in the Dublin City Marathon in the last 10 years or so. She's a physio. I've been doing Pilates with her, but she actually did a talk. She did a 1 hour kind of a ask me any question you want about the marathon. And that was actually really, really good. She's a fantastic runner.
Yeah.
She walks the walk, she talks the talk. And she, like, even the things about like how to hold the cup so that you can run at your marathon pace and not splatter water all over yourself. And even things like not letting
she gave the little top tip on how to fold it, and it was brilliant.
What is
and
that?
then like I'll send you. Caroline shared it as well. Caroline Hassett. It's like you fold the cup. I'll send you a video.
Yeah.
You fold the cup and you stick your finger in at the top and you turn it into a funnel, so it only comes out at one point rather than the whole area or the whole circumference of the cup being up on your face.
Oh, okay.
And
even
things like
cups, I just think.
Yeah. Loads of cups. I think she was also saying things like just something simple like if you have Lucozade Sport in a cup and that falls down the front of your top, that's that's potential for chafing. So things like that I suppose she's learned the hard way. So that was really, really beneficial and really, really helpful. So I think I'm happy with what I've gotten, and the rest is just going to have to be School of Hard Knocks.
Cliodhna, have you heard anything so far from all your listing different things of any contradictions and stuff? Like one I saw this week online was there was people arguing on whether the Dublin Marathon is a downhill or an uphill start, which blew my mind because I think it's almost uphill for the first 10k, straight to Castleknock. I know there's a small bits of downhill in it, like you're going down the hill heading towards the quays, but the exception of that small little downhill, it's like that Stony Batter climb. It might look on the map, that's a climb. It's a climb to the Phoenix Park. And I was mad seeing that the contradicts like that. Have you seen anything through what you've listened so far, trying to absorb as much as you can for your first marathon? And you're like, oh, dude, these things are contradicting each other. I'll have to make a decision call on this.
There's probably, what's incredible is the amount of people who've ran a lot of marathons who clearly aren't fueling properly. Like that's one I just can't get my head around at all. The amount of people who, like, I was talking to somebody recently and they ran the Charleville Marathon with one gel and they totally faded kind of in the last kilometre. I'm kind of going like, that's like, and this person is fast.
That's
like this
heroic,
person is pardon?
That's heroic. One gel.
Yeah.
My God.
That's what I can't get over. Like I can't get over. That's what I suppose, like that's controllable. There's so much you can't control. Like you can't control the weather. You can't control how you're going to feel on the day. If you're unwell, you can't control how well you're going to sleep really, but you can totally control being fueled and maintaining your fuel and your glycogen stores. It's just, so that that's fast. Like that blows me away. And then people's pacing strategies, you know, that's kind of an old hot topic as well, isn't it? How you pace your marathon. That's a minefield.
And changing the plan early doors can catch people as well. So, you know, everything feels easy when everything is at the start and everyone's all high fives and hand slaps and you're in the crowd and stuff. And you think, like Sean, I'll just run a bit faster. And then, sure, when I die, I die.
Yeah. I mean, to Conor's point there, I find that when and he is right on that, even though he slags me over, I find once I'm at one pace for a long period of time, then that's me. Like I said there a second ago that the first 10K is uphill. But I remember he was last year, the year before, I got stuck at a 5:10 pace or something like that for the first 4 or 5K. And I was in whatever crowd I was in. And I was like, I feel really good at this. I feel I can go all day, but I'm finding it very hard to slow. I'm physically looking to watch, trying to slow down, but I'm in a crowd or whatever way I am. And I was like, well, I'm stuck at this now, even though I probably could have just dead stopped and went again. But I just find that once I'm in a groove or something, it's like, okay. And like Eric said, I changed the plan in my head and go, right, let's see how long we lasted. And I got the halfway mark and I was like, I've made a grave mistake. And the second half, I absolutely suffered. But I know better. I probably even said it in the week into the podcast. You know, stick with the plan. But when you get caught up in it, and you got 3-4K in, and you're at a certain tempo, you're like, you know what? I'm feeling good. You're hearing the crowds. That gets to you. Like, I don't care who you are. When you've got so many people around you, and they're all cheering and they're going through the Dublin Marathon, you're like, oh, we finally made it to the spot. You feel better. Your niggles disappear. Everything disappears. All those, and you're like, I feel like Superman or Superwoman. I've got this. And then, you know, you get found out as the race. It's a long day going from there. I don't have a follow-up question to that, really.
Was there a question?
I left you
Did
hanging
you
because I
not
knew
have this
they
in the
would.
last podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. It's late enough.
Yes, Sean.
I'll change up a little bit on that one.
So, Cliodhna, on that then, what is your plan on the day? We're getting towards taper time. Is it still too early for you to say what's going to happen based on what you're talking with your coach, with physios and everything else?
So I think I'm going to have a chat with my coach over the weekend or maybe the week coming up to it. And he'll probably advise what I should probably aim to run out at. I know what I've been training for, but I don't know. Again, not having ran a marathon, I cannot get my head around. I think Aoife, you might have referred to this before. It's like I can't get my head around the fact that I have to run a whole marathon at this pace when, you know, you're doing your marathon pace runs and you're managing your 10 miles at marathon pace, but like that's only a third or, you know, a little under a third. So that's really hard to get your head around. So I suppose seeing is believing, I guess. So when I do it, I'm hoping that so it does work. But I do plan, I'd be a bit like you, Sean. I might get caught up a small little bit, but I think the distance of this is too great to deviate. Like, as in, I've trained for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, you're managing juggling all sorts of things at home, up at 6 o'clock in the morning, some morning, you know yourself, trying to get runs in. Like, the last thing I want to do is be a gobshite and go out and blow myself in the first 10 miles and that's it. And it's like, what the fuck, after all this time, this is what I end up doing. So I think, I'm hoping this conversation is going to flash in my head numerous times throughout the marathon.
I can't believe after 5 years, Sean actually might listen to someone. Look at that. Look how humble he is over there.
I thought that took me. I was halfway through before I blew
And
up.
another thing, Cliodhna, your kids are going to have a field day with that last 1 minute of your conversation.
Eric, where's your mammy?
Yeah. Aoife, you have had a group that have been bringing you on. You've tagged them along the way. You've taken pictures. We've had some of them comment on how they look in those photos they've been tagged in. They've been having a great time with your journey on through our social media as well, or maybe a bad time. We're going to say it's a great time. How has it been over the last little while with the group? How many of you are going for the marathon now, and how are you feeling overall?
Need fuel that keeps up with your pace? Meet Perform's Carb Gel with 30 grams of fast-acting carbs, powered by 3 fuel sources for sustained energy when it matters the most. Packed with cluster dextrin for smooth digestion and a steady release. No spikes, no crashes.
All that in a compact 40 milliliter sachet, tested under Informed Sport, so you know it's clean and competition ready. Whether you're chasing the podium or just in your next PR, Perform Carb Gel gets you there faster, longer, stronger. If you're looking to stock up, you can use the code AGR to get 20% off your order.
By listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this Irish podcast. Time to get back to the episode.
Yeah, the group is going really well. Like, only for them, things would be really difficult at this stage. But, you know, the training is still fun. I still maintain what I said in the first episode, that I enjoy these 16 weeks more than actually doing the marathon on the day. We've had an absolute ball. People are getting tired and people are getting grouchy at this stage. And, you know, it's just kind of, we want to be together because, like, people don't understand what this is like, except the people doing it. So we're like meeting for coffee and we're chatting about it, but then we don't want to talk about it. And it's the taper tantrums, as they call it, are starting to come round. But this will be my 8th marathon, so I've been through it, and definitely this time the nerves are a little bit easier, and I know what I'm facing, and I know, like what Cliodhna was talking about, deciding between, do I go to pace group, don't I go to pace group, what do I pack, do I bring? Like, I know those things now, and I've been through the pitfalls, so I'm fairly calm. Training has gone well, and there will be a group of us together on the start line. You know, we'll stick together for 10K anyway, and then some people will go ahead, some people will fall back, and we'll do our own thing. We're never beholden to each other, but it's nice to have a group to start with and to get through the Phoenix Park, and then.
What way, obviously, myself and Sean, our very first introduction to running, as we've always said, was let's do this together. Biggest mistake of our lives. Starting a race with people is fantastic. I usually leave them after the first minute. Well, they usually leave me. That tends to be how the race goes, and then I never see them again. What is the dangers, I suppose, Aoife, from covering a couple of marathons, maybe you've done some with people, of going with someone else's pace and rhythm through a marathon? Are you as a group worried about that over 10K? Someone could get carried away, or?
No, because there's 100 of us in the group. There's probably 50 or 60 going to be doing Dublin Marathon. I'll be with 5 or 6 people. And these are people I've done all my training with. So they're people who are very comfortable that we are the same pace. And then we will split up, and nobody, if somebody has to stop for the toilet, it's good luck, I'll see you at the finish line. Like, we're not minding each other. It just suits us to start together, and then, you know, whatever happens then, nobody is worrying about another person in the group. But no, we're good. I find, Cliodhna, you were saying about the pace groups, and are they crowded and things? Like, I found running with pacers previously in Dublin, it's like a really tight bunch, and then you either run ahead of them and you're running scared that they're going to get you, or you start falling off them and you're like, oh no, I'm losing the pace. So for me, I prefer to start wherever I start in the wave, and then just lock into my own plan and know what I'm planning on doing, and not worry about big balloons that pass me anywhere along the way.
One thing to know about pacing groups is, and from experience, they are a crowd until about 30K. And then there'll probably be around 30 to 40 people running with the pacing balloon, depending on the balloon. Or anyone, it was always 2,000 people with the balloon. And then as soon as you hit 27, 28K, I don't know where 1,000 people go, but they disappear. So for me, I always liked being just in front of them. One, I could hear them chasing me, so it kept me motivated. And then when they eventually catch me, there tends to be, when on the latter part of the course, slightly wider roads, and you can blend in with the group and kind of be dragged on with them then as well. So that's just a little one for how I like to do it. But as Aoife said, sometimes you might see the balloon well in the distance, and where you start in the wave could just be like, right, well, they're gone. So we'll just stick to the plan and the times. And Aoife, would you look at every kilometre, or what is your plan in terms of keeping your own pace? So like you said, you're sticking to your own plan. How do you manage your own pace then without the pacing balloons, I suppose?
We've done a lot of the 5K repeats, so we need to know what I'd like to do 5Ks in. So I'd be watching that maybe every 10K as well. Time, like a year in, and 5 minutes here, you know. So yeah, I don't like. and I glance at my watch. I know what pace I'm running if I'm there or thereabouts. You just can't get too caught up in it in the day because you can only do what you can do on the day anyway. So I think for me, overlooking at the watch just mentally is difficult because either I'll look at it and go, oh, I'm going too fast, I can't sustain this, or I'll look at it and say, I'm going too slow, what's the point? I'll just give up, So
Yeah.
I try and go I'd glance at it every 5K, make sure I'm there or thereabouts, and then just trust that I have ran this pace up and down the roads all summer long. My body knows this pace and just keep going. I don't have to watch it.
Just to highlight what you said earlier, Aoife, because I think it's such a huge point. If you're running with 1, 2, or 3 other people, whatever it is, that little toilet break is like, oh, only be 20, 30 seconds, and you stop with them, your rhythm and your flow's all gone. They may feel fresh after that going back out, and then you've just lost all rhythm routine, and then it just puts you off balance trying to catch up for a kilometre or two, and then the marathons kick in, little aches and niggles, and you start getting get take for the person beside you, whereas you just said you're not there to mind the person. They go for a bathroom break, you're gone. If you happen to see them, you'll see them. If not, you'll see them in the pub afterwards, and just focus on your own race, your own routine, and then just have that little talk with someone if you're running beside them at the very start of it. Hey, I'm doing my own thing. If we're beside each other, great. But if you have to go, I'm going to keep going. And it's probably, it's very obvious that you like a 16 weeks training up towards a marathon, Aoife, when we were doing half marathons up in London and everything else. How was that?
Oh, we had an amazing time. Now, that was a complete sightseeing tour around Dublin. It wasn't a race at all. I did exactly what you shouldn't do. I high-fived everyone. I cheered for everyone. I thanked everybody who was volunteering and had an absolute ball, and stopped on Tower Bridge and took some photos. Like, it was brilliant. So, it's nice to throw in an experience like that, a running experience that is no pressure whatsoever. Afterwards, I was kind of like, why in God's name are we killing ourselves chasing time for things when we could just run around London for fun in a half marathon, and have a great time. But I came back to earth after that, and we went to Kilkenny the following week and did the 30K in Kilkenny, and that was like marathon pace for the 30K, and that went well. So, each step is a boost of confidence, and it's another experience, and you try out the race shoes and the race t-shirt and the race shorts, and what you're going to wear. It's all practice and it's all positive.
Aoife, mentally for you, because you're going for a time this time, am I right?
Yeah.
How was it to stick to a pace for 30K and know, okay, I've got 12K left? How are you feeling mentally on that? How are you seeing the benefits of the training? And similar question to I asked Conor earlier, are you happy now to begin this taper that they all tell us about?
Yes. The training has went surprisingly well. I didn't think, I talked back in one of the early podcasts about we have to trust the process because these 10-mile runs, these 12-mile runs are feeling really hard, but it is going to be okay in October. And I was saying it to myself in hopes of trying to make it set in, but I didn't really believe it at the time. I was like, oh, this is so hard. But yeah, no, the last few weeks of training, it has been very positive. So I am hopeful that things will go well, but you really don't know until you cross that start line what's going to happen. 2 years ago, the really rainy year in Dublin, I remember that week, I was starting out with some of the girls, and I was, things to chat about that week, and I was like, I won't text them now, I'll wait and we'll have a chat about that in Dublin, something to keep us entertained. And we crossed the start line and I lost the head totally from the minute we started. And one of the girls was like, she's not talking. Why is she not talking? Aoife's always talking. There's a problem. And it just went kaput from the minute I started. Like, it just wasn't my day. So then last year, everything was plain sailing the whole time. So you really don't know what you're going to get until you get moving on the day in Dublin. But like Cliodhna said, you have a plan A, B and C. And if it's going well, you hope this will happen. And if it's not going as well, there's alternatives to still have it as a successful day at the end that you can be proud of. I think it's really cliche, but they say like the training is done and the marathon is the victory lap at the end. And just, whatever time you do finish in, whether it's your goal or not, like, to get that medal on the 26th of October is what we all want. And we're all going to get the same medal no matter what time we we do.
Absolutely. Before we hit the record button, this podcast, we're doing lots of maths and stuff there with Shane, and is doing a 16 by 400. Aoife was saying, no, just do 4 by 4, 400 times. Eric was saying, shut up, it's too much maths to everyone. Conor wasn't saying too much. Cliodhna was offline. And Shane,
Cliodhna
how
was
is your...
19 minutes late. That's the only time that mattered. The only time that mattered. Shane, you were doing a bit of running.
Yeah, I suppose last time I was on the half marathon race and confidence is a bit low, but delighted with how I bounced back the last 6-7 weeks. Put in a real shift the last 6-7 weeks, and last week was my peak weekend. Put in 124k last week,
Jesus.
and Sunday long run done 3 by 7k at marathon pace, and it went pretty well. You kind of have those sessions where you think you're nearly on the cusp of something good, and I think I'm on the cusp of something good, hopefully.
How long did it take you to get back to that feeling, Shane? Having come through, obviously, a bad experience in a marathon, was there any element of you afraid to push a little, or did you just take it back a little bit? What was your process from there to being in, let's call it a spade here, you're in good shape to give it a go?
Yeah, like I was very annoyed. Probably affected me more than I let on. But I never stopped believing. I just had to get it back out there. Started off again with the 100k week, and then I went 100k plus for 7 weeks in a row, and I'm gonna start tapering now. It's just about trying to, like, don't. Kevin said, just don't be down. You just need to get on with it. Pretty much what I did. Just get on with it. Keep going. Keep believing. And I think definitely I'm on the right direction now.
Did you change anything in them 100k weeks? Did it turn into a little bit more easy, or did you keep to the plan, or what way did you tackle that? Because obviously we're talking about we're going to the hospital after a race versus it's only a few weeks later and we're peaking. People are going to be going, this fella's nuts. I would have given up on my marathon journey in the hospital.
Oh yeah, like I got my bloods done and the bloods came back fairly okay. A few irregularities, but fairly okay. So it's like it took a couple of days off to got back into it. Literally, like, I don't know, it's weird because I went from being really sick and feeling really bad, and then all of a sudden I felt great. So it's kind of been up and down. It's like, well, I think it's all like I went 5 weeks, I had a great training. Then I went like 3 weeks down where I was sick, and then I went like another 7 weeks. So it nearly helped me to kind of getting sick, to be honest. It got a bit of recovery time.
Yeah.
And
yeah, so I'm
Shane,
really happy with how things are going at the moment.
So setting up then Marathon Day, are you going to go with, there is a 3-hour pace, I'm not too sure. I'd never actually had to look for a 3-hour balloon. Are you going to set up with a 3-hour balloon and get a little bit in front of it like Eric would say for his plan, or how are you approaching the start of that?
I think so, yeah. I think the biggest mistake I made in Vienna was not going with 3-hour pacer, because Vienna I went out on my own and I was running 415 kilometers, and on my watch I went through in 1:29:30 the first half. But officially I went through in 1:30:30, so my GPS is about 100 meters out. So that kind of affected me up in Vienna. So I didn't really realistically know what kind of pace I was running at. So this year I think I might go out with a 3-hour pacer. It'll give me a better idea of what I'm actually running, because, yeah, don't trust your GPS watch. It's not accurate.
And the real benefit of that is it takes the thinking out of it. Now you're not thinking, should I do negative split? I know you've got Kevin English there as a coach, a fantastic coach who's done unreal marathons in the past, but you're not thinking, right, is a negative split a good idea? Do I take into account going up the first 10k up those hills, up through Castleknock and everything else we talked about earlier? It's just, I got to hang out with this pacer for 2 hours, 59 minutes, and if I do that, the mission's complete.
Yeah, like, I'd imagine we're going to aim to go through halfway and probably 1:29 high and maybe try and run a negative split. Like, I'd take 2:59, but to be honest, I think I can run quicker. But like, as I said, I'd take 2:59 rather than running 3:01 again. Like, yeah.
Sounds like you're going to decide at a halfway mark whether we're going to go take it up somehow in other gear.
Yeah, but like with that, you need to be very careful, like, because you can end your race very quickly. Like even like, for example, maybe stay out 3-hour pacer up to 20 mile and see how you feel. But we haven't made a solid plan yet, but I imagine we'll be talking soon and see what the crack is.
Shane, fueling your race is obviously quite important. How much practice have you put in at pace? Because For me, when I'm plodding along, I could probably have a packet of crisps and 3 pints. You're working a hell of a lot harder than I'm working down the back. How do you
Oh, shit.
find? Yeah, I'm just. I actually just pick up the paper cups after everyone on the way around. When you're trying to pace, obviously your heart rate's a good bit. Towards the latter stages, you're working quite hard. When you're going that quicker, you tend to reach the higher heart rates quicker than we would at the back. I try and keep mine lower, but for obvious reasons. When you're fueling, how do you practice fueling for those? Because sometimes the difference in that minute or 2 minutes at your end of the stick could be getting that nutrition right on the day.
Yeah, so what I'm planning to do at the moment is take a gel every 6K. So I'm on the Morten gel 160s. So what I usually do is I usually open up the gel around maybe 500 meters before the K mark and start taking it. And I'd usually have it done then before the K marker hits. So I'd have the gel in, like, for example, I'd take it at 5.5K and have it, the gel fully taken before 6K. So I'll have it all over that 500 meters. And yeah, I take 5 or 6 160s on the day, and it's adds up to about 80 grams of carbs an hour, like the loss. But I think in Vienna, I kind of faded a small bit in the last 10K. I was taking gel 100s, so I've upped to the 160s this time. So I'm hoping it gives me a bit more in the last 10K than I had in Vienna. Hopefully, we'll wait and see.
Shane, what is your biggest is fueling your biggest worry now for this 3-hour marathon? Talking about failing before,
Failing 301's not failing.
no, I didn't say failing. Fading is what I meant to say. Fading near the end of your 301 in Vienna is fueling your biggest worry now leading into Dublin.
I don't think so. I think I'm fairly calm, to be honest. I trust in my training. Like when I've run my best marathons, I've been laughing and joking on the start line. I've just been really, really calm. I think that's the best way to approach it. Like you're going to start freaking out. You're just going to derail your whole race. So it's just about staying really calm. I'm not going to worry about too much at this stage. The work is done. It's just about resting up and freshening up now, really.
I tell you where there's plenty of abuse and laughing down the back beside me, Shane. I don't think you want to be there though, but you'd be nice and calm. I guarantee you that. But it's it's really good, and it's been impressive to watch your stories. You've been posting quite a bit and quite open about your training, which has been great for people. When you look at training individually, training with club, am I right in saying you've done a lot on your own at your paces? Have you found any running pals who can pick a pace with you to get a few sessions in with, or still mostly on your own?
I've done the majority of training on my own. Like I done that 3 by 7K on my own, and it was okay, but like it was torture. It was tough. Like I hit the splits on the first 2 7K reps, and the last 7K rep I faded a small bit. But it was kind of good practice. Like I was going to drop at a 5K, but like I hung on for 7K. Like it's good practice. Like at some stage you're going to hurt in the marathon. Like in Vienna at 38K, like is that like in my head? Like why are you doing to this stuff? You can just step off the road now. And you're like, oh, come on, just another kilometer, and just kind of try and trick your mind, keep yourself going until eventually there's no kilometers left. Just kind of good practice.
Shane, is extra pressure now that a difference between a 301 and a 259 could be a guaranteed ticket for Dublin Marathon next year after the news coming out today?
I feel
I've done like the last.
Spend years advertising the fucking thing, and then they say you can never do it again.
Yeah, like I've done the last 4 Dublin Marathons, so it'll be frustrating if I don't get a ticket for next year.
It's look at the draw now.
Look at the draw. Even if you've done it 10 years in a row, Sean, doesn't matter.
I won't get you started on Herc.
No, to get me off the soapbox quick, Shane. No, it is really good. It's really good to see. And in terms of ratios, have you got a pair that you've broken in? Are you starting to get a new pair? What's the plan in terms of ratios for you now? Because obviously, when you're at the pointy end, the carbon being fresh-ish is going to make some sort of a difference. So science is going to tell us. Is that something you're considering?
So I've had the Adidas Pro Evo for a while now. I never used to do any workouts or any long runs in my race shoes, but that's something Kevin English has told me to start doing. I nearly do all my workouts in my race shoes now, and like the marathon pace long runs in my race shoes. And to be honest, I'm going to use the race shoes that I'd use for my long runs and workouts. And like they're probably maybe 10 weeks old at this stage. But look, I'm not going to buy another pair at this stage, 300 euro, and there's not going to be much difference, to be honest, I don't think. So yeah, I'll stick with them and they'll be grand.
And it's another element of comfort and confidence.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm hearing a
They're
lot
not
lately
cheap.
about these pro Evo runners, Adidas, out of nowhere. Because you don't really hear Adidas much with running. It's always Asics or the Nikes or that kind of thing.
To be
But all of a
honest,
sudden,
I
these
don't
pro
really like them, but
Evos.
I've trained in them now, so yeah.
There
Yeah.
goes the €1 million I was going to get. Thanks, Shane.
So I'll be changing them after Dublin, I think.
Well, 2.5 weeks to go, Conor, coming back to you. Is there any big fear, or apart from that, there's not, is there any word of advice you'd have for people listening that are doing the Dublin Marathon 2.5 weeks time?
Don't do a podcast and lead up to it.
Yeah, don't put yourself in the deep water. No, just listening to Cliodhna talking about, like your pace and stuff. What actually worked really well for me in Barcelona. Now, I seen people doing it as well, but I got a marker and wrote like at the different milestones, say 5, 10, 15, 20, the whole way up, and what my overall time should be to be on target for whatever my goal was. I think it was 3:30. That worked really well for me because, as you said, sometimes you look down, maybe there's a slight decline and your pace is up a little bit, and then you might be like, oh shit, I better slow that down. But rather than looking at it every time you look and say, or every K, I would just look at the bigger picture. So even if I was, say, over on the 5, fast enough on the 5K mark, I know then you have a bit of a buffer there for the 10K or whatever, the kind of way. That worked well for me. Now, I did see people with it, like officially sort of, like that sort of print on their arm.
Yeah.
So that was obviously work better than the marker, because the marker was fading as I was running. But yeah, that really worked well for me. And again, it sort of takes that maths out of your head. If you're like, Jesus, if I run at this pace for the next 3K, what's that going to get me? And you're running and the maths is never right. So that sort of just takes out the guesswork. So that's what I'll be doing again anyways.
I'd love to give you an old Casio, Conor, and put a countdown timer on it. As soon as you hit start, you better run for your life. You better be under when it gets under. It's a different kind of logic, but the same system, I suppose. But it's is it again coming with a little bit of experience, having done one or two? Are you nervous about pacing, or are you just going to feel it out and how it goes, and then whatever happens, or what is your plan? Are you getting into the fine nitty-gritty, or just stick to the plan, and if I have more, I'll try in the last 10?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Like I saw the wave, whatever the start times come out, and how many paces are going to be in it. So in wave 2, there will be a pacer for the 3:30. Now I'd like to stay around that. Could be a bit optimistic considering, I'd say, the lack of training I've had so far, but even maybe stick with them or in front of them for as long as possible, I think is going to be my plan. I've never ran with a pacer before, so it will be different. So hearing what you said, like there could be a group of a couple of 100 people, and it can be hard to stay with them or whatever. Like I might try get in front and make sure they don't catch me, and probably dog it out for the last 5K and just go through a load of hurt. But look, we'll see. Yeah, I think it'll be stick with the pacer anyway.
Another reason to run in front. Now, everyone else listening, don't do it, because otherwise I ruin the advice for Conor. If you stay in front, you can run the racing line a little bit better. If you're in the group, if you're on the right hand side of the group and the group goes left, you've already added in another couple of meters on this corner, another couple on that corner. So if you're in that kind of lull in front, you can actually take the shortest route. So instead of running 42.6 like some of us do, it's you might save yourself 400 meters in a couple of seconds for that 3:30 as well. So it's something to think about for those who are trying to pick up a nugget or two from this episode. But yeah, it's going to be good. That's definitely a Sean technique. The 3:30, hold on for as long as it can and see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
It worked at Barcelona. It's not worked for me in Dublin. But to your point, Conor, I was at Barcelona the last couple of K going 3K, 5, this pace here. I can go down 5, 10 pace. I might just make it. But then the problem with that then is if you don't do what you did, you're thinking, what time did I actually have here, rather than going off the watch? Because like Eric just hinted there, the watch is not accurate, and 400 meters doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're going for a 3:30 time and you've only got a minute or two left and you don't know what the finish line is, 400 meters could seem like 5-6K away from the finish line. It could make or break it. Aoife, you talked about your pitfalls. You've done this, your 8th Dublin Marathon coming up. What kind of pitfalls have you had leading up there that people listening could learn from?
Be ready for the stickiness at the Lucasade stations, because that's hard. And we're not ready for that. It's disgusting, and it's like shocking the first time you hit that. You stick the ground. Yeah, it's really so for first time marathoners, be prepared to stick the ground. Maybe it's not too bad when Shane passes it because nobody has dropped it everywhere, but when you're back in wave 4, the ground.
We need that cup tip for everyone so they don't spill all over the ground for the rest of us fast and sure later on. Shane, drink it right. Don't put it on the floor. Don't spill, drop.
Imagine how I feel trying to sweep it off the floor.
I think Rex thinks someone said it's not like, don't panic about sleeping the night before. It's the night before that you want to get a good sleep in, because you probably won't sleep the night before, and don't worry about that. If you're trying to, do I have everything? I've discovered ChatGPT is great. Type in traveling to Dublin for a marathon, staying one night, give me a packing list, and it'll tell you everything you need. So you don't have to panic about, did I forget this? Did I forget that?
We're going to edit that bit out and say AGR packing lists. You can find that on our Instagram. Thanks, Aoife.
Social media content. Tick.
Packing list brought to you by AGR. Download the PDF for $2.99.99.
Use a packing list. Make sure you have everything. It's just the logistics. Like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to eat? If I'm staying in a hotel, is breakfast open early enough? Or do I need to bring something to the room? Throw away clothes, gloves. Like, instead of bringing expensive running gloves, buy gloves for $1.50 in Pennies or wherever that you can dump. Like, just do it. Rest, eat, and run. And that's it now for the next few weeks. And I think also during the taper, like, we're supposed to be cutting back, but stick with the routine. If you're running however many days a week, still run that many days a week, but just cut back the quantity and the intensity, maybe a little bit of like the mileage and stuff. But it's still good to get out however many days a week you're used to getting out. I think that works for me.
Absolutely. Cliodhna, I know you haven't done a marathon yet, but you've done a lot of races. You put a lot of running in the especially last couple of weeks. Any tips or what you picked up along the way for the people listening in, or anything your word? You know, you talked about some of your fears already leading up into the marathon.
I'd be a bit rich now if I gave you a list of things to prepare for coming into my first marathon, wouldn't I? I don't know.
It's okay. AGR has prepared a list of things. I'm just typing it out as we speak.
I suppose I don't know. I ask me afterwards, and I'll have loads to say, I guess. This is all learning for me. Just what Aoife said there, just kind of hit a kind of struck a chord with me, just with regards to the hotel. Even things like, I know someone was saying before about porridge. Like, what do they make their porridge with? Do they make their porridge with cream? Because if they eat their porridge with cream, you could have a lot of gastro issues hitting the Phoenix Park if you're not used to your porridge made from cream. So I suppose that's probably what I'll look at now. Is I'm going to check out the hotel, see what time they serve breakfast at. If it's not at a reasonable time, what can I bring? Will I bring a toaster? Like, I'm serious. I'd have no problem bringing a toaster up into the room with me so I can do my bagel.
We had someone bring a toaster to Barcelona, so it happens.
Yeah. It's just, what is it? They say, control the controllables.
Conor wouldn't know because he didn't come and say hello, but someone did.
I rephrase that question then, Cliodhna, then. Is it something that because sometimes, like, this is our 5th, 6th year talking about Dublin Marathon, and everyone else in the group has done marathon stuff before. Is there something you feel that when you're we have overlooked that we're talking about, that we think, oh, sure, people know that it's like, hang on, actually, I didn't know about this, that when you're getting your research leading into the market, you said a lot of the research, that you're like, actually, no, you need to put more focus on this that we haven't mentioned maybe in this episode or previous episodes so far.
What if I actually didn't listen to any back episodes and I was lying? I'd be screwed, wouldn't I? I think
This is a test. by the way,
I
Cliodhna.
listened. Pardon?
This is a test.
Uh,
This is a test.
I
So
listened
episode
to a lot of the episodes.
173, I spoke about.
I listened to a lot of the pre-marathon episodes last year, and it got me really, really excited, and it gave me such FOMO. Like I for the first time ever as a runner, I felt like I really, really, really wanted to run the Dublin Marathon, which is why I'm here now chatting to you. So I would say, like having the different variety of guests that you have on, from like the Mick Foxes, you know, for people like that, the nutritionists, like so much of what you cover lends itself to preparing for events of all different kinds of, like, I've learned so much listening to podcasts that I wouldn't have known, and I'm involved in sport all along. So I think if you want me to pat you on the back, I think you're doing a really great job. I think it's great. And if you don't have a
Dublin
community
Marathon,
of
give us
runners,
500 tickets to give out a part of the lottery, that'd be great.
but when you, like, for people who aren't involved with a group of runners or who don't have that community around them, I think these podcasts are really, really, really beneficial, and they really give people an opportunity to learn without having to put their hand up or having to go meet a group. So I think it's really beneficial from that point of view. It's funny, actually, one thing that you talked about there with the Garmins, that's the second time today I've heard that, how the Garmin doesn't register very well, particularly in the early part of the Dublin Marathon, and that you can go a bit haywire. So I suppose, like, do you know what? It's a cheat sheet after this you should be writing with all these little bits and pieces. Like, there's definitely something in that. I know you're slagging about your ChatGPT, but there's actually a whole load of things. Somebody else was saying, carry a small little 250ml bottle of water in your hand, because the first water station is like a stampede, and you're trying to get over to the first water station and you can't get there. If you have a 250ml bottle of water in your hand, you don't need to worry about it. You're fine for the first water station. So the small little things like that you hear along the way that are little nuggets that I'll try. If they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't probably answered anything you asked there. I just rambled, didn't I?
No, but you've said what everyone is thinking. Cliodhna doesn't listen to our episodes. No, no, Cliodhna, you've said what most people who are showing up to a marathon are thinking about, and all the things we do, and it is great. You can't make every mistake yourself. Me and Sean have tried, and even still, we can't make every mistake ourselves. And
We're up there.
Aoife there has done so many mistakes and marathons, but we learn from them all, and the fact that we get to share them, and that's why you guys are here, I suppose, is to try and share the journey, because we have one way of doing it, and you guys have inspired so many others, and that's the feedback we get from everyone listening, is that they're relating to each one of you in different ways for different bits and pieces that we're all doing, which is fantastic. So I've no doubt many people listening, Cliodhna, are having the same thoughts. They're now packing the toaster, and they're getting ready for the 26th.
Shane, any last bit of tips, advice for people?
I think a big one I see is about the expo. A lot of people say go in and get your number and go straight out, but I think that's a lot of crap, to be honest. Then, like 20, 30 minutes walking around the expo is not going to kill you. I think the expo is part of the experience. Like, fair enough, if you're walking around the expo for 3-4 hours, don't do that. But like a 20, 30 minute walk around the expo is not going to kill you. I think it's all part of the experience.
Depends what they sell you on, because me and Eric can get easily bought a lot of things, and we come out with like loads of bags of stuff and
juice,
jellies and sugar, and then we definitely don't sleep that night. And hopefully Aoife's advice, again, a good night's sleep the previous night, works.
Look, I agree with that. I think you've worked hard. You've worked hard. You've worked hard for the expo. Go and enjoy it. Take all the free stuff. Just be careful what you put into the body. Don't ruin good preparation for a free sample of a Carlsberg Zero, or well, I don't know what else me and Sean ate that year, but we ate everything. It was carb loaded.
My tip, told me during the week that she's going to come up and support me and surprise me, that she was going to surprise me. But then she said, I remember you saying nothing new on race day. And I wasn't sure if that was just like food and people are right. So, like, orange, like,
Oh, that is too good.
yeah.
Actually, Aoife, serious question off that. For people listening and they have people wanting to support them, where do they go?
So I think previously people go, like from the group who are supporting us, go to the Phoenix Park when you enter the Phoenix Park, and then they cross the park while we go around and are at the other side of the park. I've done this race lots of times and I don't know my way around it really. But
Yeah, no, that makes sense that you've seen him twice early that way, yeah.
Park. And then, like I said to my sister, go to my 22 or 23 where I'm in a hole and I need support. And then don't go near the finish. I'm happy at the finish line. I don't need support at the finish line. And once I go through the finish line, they're going to funnel you through another about 800 meters and get back to you. So see me at mile 22 and then go back to the hotel and meet me there. Because like there'll be videos of that. There'll be pictures of that from the official photography. I'm happy. I don't need support and I'm not going to be able to see you straight away anyway. You have to go through the bag drop and everything. That was my advice to my sister.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that anymore. Especially we get to the finish, like, I'll see you later on. There's no people cheering. I'm not going to see it. I've had people being like, you didn't see me to finish. I'm like, yeah, I mean, people are like looking back and how much I'm struggling. Like, I don't see anyone there. And then, like, I haven't seen Niamh halfway through, and she's like literally waving right in front of me. I just, whoops. But
don't count on your people for like minding some of your gels, because if you miss them,
that's your race. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I give Sean abuse, but I ran up Castleknock Hill after him with a tub of Vaseline one year. That's how much we look after each other. He didn't see me because he's blind as a bat. Blind as a bat. Oh, this wasn't during the race. This was at 2 a.m. No, I'm only joking. 2 a.m.
What was in the
We
other hand,
did get
Derek?
that tip years ago, actually, because
a bat. No, I can't. Jesus, Sean, edit this. Edit it quick. This will be the reason. This will be the reason I can't run for president. This is
I'm
it.
doubling down on this one. No, you're out of this. I'm doubling down. For my eyebrows, because I sweat a lot and the sweat goes into my eyes, that if I don't put the Vaseline on the eyebrows, my eyebrows don't work. I don't know if I'm just there's something wrong with my eyebrows or this, but they don't work. They're not fit for purpose. They're just there for aesthetics. So I needed them to start because the sweat goes into
the only hair left on the heads are there for aesthetics. Oh, I didn't think you could beat my Vaseline story, but you've just done it.
on that bombshell, I think.
Oh, God. This
guys,
is brilliant.
I think on that bombshell, we will wrap up this week's episode, this special episode of the podcast. We will have the 4 of you on after the marathon to see how you guys get on. It's a late night. I still got to edit this podcast. So with that said, Cliodhna, Shane, Aoife, Conor, Eric, I suppose. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Early Give a Run Day podcast. Best of luck with the marathon journey. It's actually tears come down the ice, and that's it from the 6 of us. Take care.
That's your eyebrows fault.